in the town of Lee, an idea from veteran Peter Macdonald to get homeless vets off the street and into a home of their own is stirring up controversy. It's called the Veterans Resort Chapel, and our Amy Covino found some residents that are pushing back. Now a zoning battle is brewing and may only get resolved in federal court.
Peter Macdonald is well known in the town of Lee. This is what he calls an art display in the front of his home on Packers Falls Road. Other residents call it a junk pile and a zoning violation. Macdonald says his display is protected by the First Amendment, and now he's trying to use another constitutional right to help him build something nearby that he calls the Veteran Resort Chapel. Lee, New Hampshire, picturesque, rural. Population about 4,500. But what's happening here on Stepping Stones Road has tempers flaring and angry residents lobbing lawsuits.
And back here is where I have the plans for the first two cabins. It's going to be one 8 by 16-foot cabin here with a full bathroom.
Peter Macdonald is a Vietnam vet who was discharged from the Marine Corps. He was homeless for a year before the VA examined him in 1976 and determined he had PTSD, hearing loss, and a broken back, 100% disabled. Now he says he and his wife are using their life savings as well as proceeds from a second mortgage to offer homeless vets in New Hampshire a place to live and pray and heal.
These are the men and women that fought for this country. They should have a right to live in it wherever they want, even if people in the neighborhood are scared, because people assume the worst when it comes to something like this. They see homeless people and they assume they're drug addicts or alcoholics.
It's called the Veteran Resort Chapel, VRC. The basement will offer a non-denominational place for veterans to pray and worship. The main floor will be a home. And Macdonald hopes in the coming months, 2 more cabins will be built.
Getting it done, 2 old men.
Phil Imbregia will be the first resident at VRC. He spent 5 years in the Air Force, based at Aviano, Italy, in the early 70s. He's been homeless for 2 years. He has no income. Since September, Phil and his dog Misty have been here, pouring the foundation, hanging siding. Construction is his background. So is a DUI, a suspended license, and an assault charge. Stepping Stones residents are aware and are worried. Phil says he's not perfect, but having an address will change everything.
You have to have an address to get your EBT card, you know, your food card and stuff, and you have to have an address for fuel assistance, and I don't have one.
There is nothing on Stepping Stones Road that's going to help Phil get to the next step. That's what this is about. There's no facilities, there's no transportation, there's no medical, there's no dental, there's not even food.
Kevin Crawford and his wife Jane own 40 acres across the street from Macdonald's Veterans Project. Crawford resigned his seat on the planning board over frustrations with the town and Macdonald. The selectmen meetings have been wrestling with the VRC plans for months. The October 18th meeting got heated, and the discussion continued in the lobby.
What I'm saying is that the homeless veterans who need the help need to have the proper help. That's my concern. They need to have... What is proper help?
Al Peel is a vet who's homeless. He over-leveraged his $300,000 Bay State home and lost it in 2007. He's been squatting on some land in Northwood since.
At 68 years old, I'm out there cutting wood and trying to stay warm, and just me and my dog in the cabin.
Many of those fighting to stop the project have military ties as well.
Be part of it.
You tell me.
Be part of it, sir. All right?
You tell me how I'm part of something that's illegal. I can't do it.
Career officers who served in battle or have children serving now. Opponents insist passionately they are not anti-veteran. Lee's Board of Selectmen, along with the town administrator, Julie Glover, are struggling to navigate the legality of the Veterans Resort Chapel. So far, the project hasn't broken any zoning laws, but more cabins would be a violation. Macdonald has filed 2 lawsuits against the town of Lee. One is in federal court, the other in New Hampshire Superior Court, alleging religious discrimination under the Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act, or RUPALA. The act lessens zoning regulations for churches.
But this is the sign that they're making the big complaint about.
Actually, the town of Lee issued a number of cease and desist orders to Peter Macdonald. A building permit was denied at first because Macdonald planned to install compost toilets, saying it was against his religion to put a septic system on the chapel grounds. Macdonald eventually conceded and installed a septic system, but had to move a well to meet the town's requirement. He finally got this, a building permit for Veterans Resort Chapel.
Phil, give me the measurement from the inside of that channel, the inside of the J channel.
Winter is coming and the push is on to get Phil inside before the end of November. Use of the backhoe was donated, so were thousands of dollars worth of sinks, piping, and countertops. Across the street, neighbors are upset, but declined to go on camera, saying they fear retribution. Town officials declined comment as well. Town Administrator Julie Glover says right now, Macdonald has a permit for a single-family residence, and that's all that's standing on the property. Glover tells News 9 the town can't take action against Macdonald until he actually violates zoning regulations, that to legally add cabins, he needs a zoning variance. Macdonald has faith that the federal statute will pave the way to the variance he needs, and if he builds it, they will come.
We all want a home, every one of us.
Veteran groups estimate more than 600 military vets are homeless in New Hampshire. Peter Macdonald says he will not go forward with building additional cabins on the property until he has the proper zoning variance. The federal lawsuit claiming religious protection is scheduled to be heard next summer. Meanwhile, some upset neighbors say they're considering selling their property and leaving. Amy Cavino, WMUR News 9.